Hey, happy Wednesday. I'm back, Grown Folks Talk with Stacia K. We are talking about side chicks today. We are talking about side chicks. So in the last video in this series, I talked about when it's not fun no more. When it ain't fun, when you go from the woman he's cheating with to the woman he's cheating on. And that isn't necessarily talking about when he left his primary woman. So you want to go check that out if you haven't. But I wanted to talk about sex and seduction. There's a lot of talk out, and one of my favorite mentors, R.C. Blake's, he uses this phrase that he says, or this quote, I believe, of his, that he says, how a PhD caliber of a woman can dumb herself down to a GED caliber of a man. And not disqualifying anybody's education or anything like that, but he's just basically saying how, you can dumb it down for somebody that's not even on your level, really, right? And so, because this is a very common question. I know I've been asked, people will say, and I'm not highly educated. I don't have all those degrees and everything, but, people always say, Stacia, you're intelligent. How did you get tricked into, or how did you get yourself in this type of situation? Especially because you've been married before, and you've been cheated on by your husband. So how did you find yourself in this circumstance? And what I've come to understand is that when it comes to matters of the heart, when it comes to relationships, especially with women, right? Oftentimes we don't lead with our intelligence, because if we did, we wouldn't endure these hardships in relationships. So whether it's a side chick situation, whether you're the wife getting cheated on repeatedly by a serial cheater, whether you're the girlfriend in an abusive relationship, no matter what your relationship dynamic is, oftentimes women don't lead with intelligence. Some of us do, after enough life experience, we start to say, hey, you can't continue to make decisions with your heart. You got to make it with your head. But oftentimes we don't, and so I'm no different in that regard. I'm a nurturing woman. I'm a very, very much a feminine woman. I crave masculine energy, right? Just like any other woman. And so I found myself in this situation because this is a perfect example of letting my emotions dictate decisions for me instead of using what I knew in my mind to help me make a more intelligent decision for myself. So, and then that's one aspect of it. There are other contributing factors like being in a bottom feeder season. You're not feeling very good about yourself. You might be dealing with some baggage from previous relationships, unhealed. Lot of contributing factors. But we've seen women with PhDs. These situationships and side chick situations, there's no particular type of woman. I know it has a lot of stereotypes surrounding it, right? But you can find side chicks anywhere from the projects to the White House, okay? And everywhere in between. It has no socioeconomic status or education level. None of those things matter. Women of all walks of life have inserted themselves into these situations depending on what season they are in their life. Now, I'm in a season where I've grown, I've taken time to heal, and couldn't nobody convince me to be their damn side chick. You know what I mean? It's not an option for me. But I haven't always been above that, right? There was a season in my life where, obviously, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking about it. So anyway, how can women be pulled in? Easily, especially if they're in a difficult season. They've endured some trauma. Like myself, I had gotten out of an engagement. I was broken, I was hurting, and this man came in And let me talk about a way that they connect with you, a common way that they connect with you. And that is through seduction and sex. So the seduction usually leads before the sex, just like in any type of relational involvement, romantic relational involvement. Let me put it that way. So rewind back to when he and I started, interacting. So as I mentioned in the first video, he hopped in my DMs. I knew him through a business acquaintance or affiliate, and he hopped in my DM. We agreed to meet at a park in a neighborhood that wasn't too far. It was like in between both of us. And so we met at a park. We're talking. The phone conversations have been a vibe. We seem to have a lot of common interests. We both agreed that we were physically attracted to each other. He had been, he expressed how he had been checking me out for a long time, because I had known of this guy for years, but never knew that he was looking at me. And to be honest with you, I wasn't even checking for him ever. I had known of him, but I was never checking for him, right? And so just like most women, when you get to know somebody, he may not be a person that you were checking for, but when you start to get to know somebody and you witness a chemistry between you all, then you start to focus in on if oh, I like his top lip. Well, I like the way he walk. You never paid attention to this dude. And that's my case. I never ever even looked in his direction more than 30 seconds. So we agreed to meet at the park. It was in the evening. It was in the summer. And my sons had just graduated high school. And one of my sons had went off to the Army. And so I was kind of, dealing with the breakup of my engagement. My sons, my babies, because I have an older daughter, and then my babies, which are my twin boys. So one went off to the Army, and it was just really heavy. And, so it was a welcomed interaction. It was welcome conversations we were having. So we met in the park, and I remember like it was yesterday, the first time he kissed me. He kissed me that night. And when I tell you, I'm over 40 plus at this time, right? And when I tell you, I had never been kissed like that before. I had never, ever been kissed like that before. And I've had good kisses, but I had never been kissed like this man kissed me. And so I was like, damn, wow, okay. And so, of course, you go home and you're intrigued. And I made the mistake, like so many women make, just talking too much. I'm abstinent and blah, blah, blah. Women, never tell a man when you just getting to know them and you don't really know what their scope is or what their intentions are. Don't just go telling your business. We talk too much. That's how we mess ourselves up. And even outside of this dynamic, just when you're dating in general, just vet the man before you get to telling your business. So I told this man I was abstinent, which I had been for some months, and his antennas just went up. You abstinent, huh? So, of course, I became something to conquer, right? He kissed me like, listen, I just want to, and the man could sing too, so he was singing to me. And I just want to just take my clothes off right there. I did. I did. But I act like I had, had a little I was a little dignified. So I didn't do nothing then. In fact, we didn't start having sex for a couple of months, because I knew from that kiss, from that time, I said, you got to take it slow with this man, because he is trying to pull you in. He trying to pull you in, like he is trying to. And so my point in doing this video is, men that cheat, baby, they have mastered the art of seduction. They know they gon' bring it